because let me tell this as my last story. I spoke to the second managing director of one of the telcos yesterday. He's visiting to Nigeria, he's non-Nigerian, and I said to him, you know, one of those first 5 women who became 10,000 women. So we started with 5 women, 35,000 naira loans. They became 10,000 women across Nigeria. One of the first 5 was 35,000 naira woman who does 180 million naira in turnover every year now. The other woman who took 35,000 naira.
What's she doing?
She has a store.
Okay.
She does virtual airtime, obviously telecoms, but she also does, in the interim, phones. She does provisions. She has just expanded her store. She has more than one store in various different places. Her kids have gone to university. She used to be a sales girl. But you see, the other story, and I had completely forgotten, what he said to me is, I said to him, you know, this story and this other lady, Felicia, do you know that she now finances 15,000 women across the Southeast? And he said, you know, it's funny because I remember Felicia because 13 years ago, when I gave her her phone and her airtime worth 35,000 naira, she said, Oga, I know exactly how I will finance 300 women to do this business. And I said, guess what? She did 15,000. Those are the types of people that we want to invest in, so that, as Wahid said, there is a multiplier effect, and so that the NYSC, which was created as a scheme to take young people for a year into parts of the country which they do not know. It was part of a mission to unify our country and to help us understand the diversity, the depth, and the wealth of our country. And you know, 2 of the youth corpers who presented, one of them has something called Zobo Cola. And what is incredible is that he was in a village serving, and he learned about Zobo, which a woman produces. And he realized it has nutritional value, people love it, and he could make a business out of it. And so he has little bottles, bottled just like Coca-Cola, and he sells
financed
them.
By the Bank of Industry.
And it was during his youth service. And so the idea is inspired by people like that, young people like that. He's in his 20s. What BOI and NYSC have done and have recruited Growing Businesses Foundation to support is, how do we take the ideas that young people have, build on them, invest in them, and help them create more jobs and create more value, also nutritional and health value, so that, for example, when we're talking about school feeding programs should be feeding children some of the things that we have produced by our own youth in our own country and created jobs, employment, and value by the same generation that is then nurtured and should lead in the future.
Mrs. Danabia, what is this website? Because as parents or even guardians or even the core members, they want to know. I'm sure hearing her talk now, I'm sure people with ideas want to rush to this website.
It's www.boinigeria.com/GEF.
/GEF.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the graduate in graduate entrepreneurship.
Okay, I have a question from, or is there a comment now from Shema Cave, and he says, yes, this is a laudable initiative as it is, but for a business plan to be analyzed with 500 words is definitely not.
No, it's not a business plan, business idea.
Okay.
What do you want to do? And that's the objective of the training program for 3 days. At the end of the training, at the end of the 3 days, you are supposed to come up with elements of a potentially viable business plan. Because it's also really difficult to come up with a comprehensive business plan in 3 days. But the elements, and that's why the consultants are supposed to handhold them as well and mentor them post the 3 days.
The training are for those whom you select at the end of the exercise, right?
Yes, please.
So, okay, so is it during the youth service that they go for this training or after?
During
the service year.
You must be a corporate. That's why I said you must put your state code number.
Yes.
You must be a serving corporate.
Yes.
And in each year you have 3 batches, right?
Yes.
So the last batch for this year are those we are starting off with.
Okay.
We are going to be selecting 1,000 from those who apply.
Okay.
Based on the merit of their business ideas
Yes.
Okay.
as imputed into the form.
Maybe I can help
Right.
them. You have this SMA clusters, the 35.
35, yeah.
Just read out a few, just in case you are
Correct.
thinking of
To
ideas.
guide them.
If you want to go into adire, tie and dye, you want to do animal feeds, aquaculture, bakery, foundries, metal fabrication, just any business idea.
ICT, fashion. We have the fashion fund.
Yeah.
We have the Nolly fund as well, right? And
Digital
the second
printing.
case study we had on the day of the launch is a copper, also supported by the Bank of Industry, who produces gari from cassava. It's called Tasso Flakes. And in the pouch, he has gari at the bottom. At the top, he has milk. And then some have granules. Some also have sugar. And the DG of NYC was able to introduce him to the Nigerian army, such that our troops in the northeast now feed on the gari that he produces, the Castle Flakes. So the Nigerian army buy his own products. So that's creating markets for SMEs, linking SMEs with large enterprises that she was talking about. So those are the two most successful case studies we have, and we're trying to replicate more and more of them. So it's doable.
Okay.
And maybe, sorry, it's maybe just worth another bit of advice. All of the clusters, if the youth corpus think about where they are, the Zobo example, the cassava example, when you're a youth corper, you're usually taken to a place that is new. Because you're in a new place, you can think differently and you can innovate. And you will always find something there that is a business idea that you can take and translate into something positive. Part of the objective is to stimulate local economies. So we keep talking about bottom-up growth. This is one way of doing that. So don't do it out of context, and by all means, youth corpers need to stop complaining that they go into a place to do youth service and all they do is serve tea.
Okay.
Because now they have an opportunity to do something different.
Okay. Wahid, can you give us the website again, please?
BOI Nigeria.com/GEF.
And this is ending November 3rd.
Third at 12 midnight.
I just want to say
Midnight.
something.
Quickly, please.
Yes, because let everybody not go to that site, because we have a way of validating who a core member is. You can pick up a code number from anywhere to feed in, but we'll definitely know if you are a core member.
So
or
if you're not
I mean,
a
this
core
is the
member,
IT
don't
age.
even,
Of course, you have
don't
your
even
database
bother.
of all your youth corpers. So nobody else can just go there and pretend to be a youth corper and want to take advantage of this initiative. Thank you very much for coming. We have been talking about BOI's Graduate Entrepreneurship Fund, and we've been chatting with Executive Director, Small and Medium Enterprise, Bank of Industry, Mr. Wahid Olagunju, who used to be one of us, by the way, and then Director, Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development at NYSC, Mrs. Mary Dan Abia, as well as Dr. Ndidi Nnoli Edozian, who is CEO, Growing Businesses Foundation. Thank you very much for coming. And good luck with this initiative. I'm sure you will have thousands and thousands of applications, and you'll have to sieve through them.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
you.
It's good
Thank
luck
you.
to all of us.
Sunrise will be right back after this little break. Please stay with us.